Hey guys.
Hi everybody, welcome.
Happy Tuesday.
We're getting to hang out with one of our favorite people, Amena Brown, today and talk about fun things.
Super fun things.
Her new book is so great. How to Fix a Broken Record, because none of us have that going on. None of us have that going on in our head.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, I think you may have defined in a, of course, really fun, creative way, the problem with all of our brains.
Yeah.
So we're really excited to have. But Amena, welcome. Welcome. Your background's cool. Like most people go and like there's dirty dishes in their background, but like you have poster central. Like what is going on behind you right now?
This is actually it's serving two purposes. One, I'm in my office, and my office is technically the sunroom of our house. So this door right here has window panes on it. So in order for me to do things like this in here, I had to come up with some way to cover that up. But then I thought, well, I should just go through a bunch of magazines and pick out some pictures and phrases that are inspiring to me. So it's sort of a vision board.
Cool. I want one.
Awesome.
I love it. I love it. My creative ADD side is very inspired right now. We actually have a little bit of a surprise for you, Amena. We wanted to bring you of your friends that just happened to be in the office today that you're gonna love seeing. So come here. They're pretty excited to see you.
It's Amena! Oh my goodness!
Because there's other people watching, so you got to introduce yourselves.
I'm Delina. Hi, I'm Annette from Rwanda.
And Annette works with African New Life. For all of you that are part of IF Gathering, you know African New Life. We love and care about that ministry. And these two got to travel with Amena just recently on your trip to Rwanda, right?
Yes, in July. And Annette was our everything. She was leading us through Rwanda. She was telling us all the things we needed to know, and she was dealing with us singing all the songs because our team sang a lot of songs. It's so good to see y'all.
I love it. It feels like a family reunion. I just met them, but my son's from Rwanda, so I feel like we're already like this.
Yeah.
So
yes, everything.
It's a good surprise for me too today. So anyway. Okay, I knew you'd love that. Bye, guys.
So good to see you.
So why don't we start with that, just in case people didn't get to follow that trip. Amena, talk a little bit about how special that was and what the vision of that trip was first.
Yeah, so I took a trip with 10 other Black women leaders. Delina was one of those 10. And we decided we were going to go to Rwanda in partnership with African New Life. And I had been to Africa, I'd been to Rwanda with African New Life on the IF Gathering trip 2016. And I had talked to some of the IF Gathering staff about wanting to come back and bring a team of all Black women from America. So there were 11 of us in all, and we spent 8 days in country there in July of this year. And we sang and we laughed and we cried with our Rwandan sisters. It was a really beautiful time, I think, of healing for a lot of us on our team, just coming from America and just getting that healing from our Rwandan sisters. And there was a lot of exchange of just learning from each other. You know, even though we are all Black women, we are from different countries and different cultures. So I think there was a lot of beauty to that. And we were hoping to sort of rewrite this bad missions trip narrative that says, you know, in order for brown people to be helped, one, that they have to be helped by Americans, and two, that they have to be helped by white Americans. And so our trip was not to go over and say, what are the ways we can help you or teach you or show you how? Our trip was to say, we may have things that we can teach to you, but you have so much you can teach to us.
And
let's learn together, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, talk about a country full of wisdom. I mean, the fact that that country exists and exudes so much joy with everything it's been through recently. I mean, the genocide was 94, I believe. And so that just wasn't that long ago. And yet there isn't there just a palpable joy in that country? So powerful.
And so much to learn about reconciliation and about forgiveness, about what happens when people in a country come to where they fear one another so much that they would murder each other. And it was really convicting for me as a Black woman in America and just as an American period to really not want fear of other people that may be different from me to take that kind of root inside. that we had so much to learn from them, even in them sharing with us some of that journey too.
Yeah.
That's so good. It was such a fun surprise to have them in the office.
I know.
Like such great timing.
I love those people.
I know.
Yeah, a little bit of Africa right here. It was a pretty good surprise for me. So I miss Rwanda. It's been a little while. Okay, so let's talk about the book. Congratulations, friends.
Yay. I'm holding on to
it. It dropped last week. I love it. I just said dropped like a record.
Wow. I'm very proud, Jennie. I'm proud. I mean, in a few minutes, we might get you to wobble. You know, I don't know. We have a lot of things to work on.
You've taught me all kinds of things, Amena. I would do that for you. I would wobble.
She's very hip, that one.
That's what they call me. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about it. It's such a great book. It's so needed. Talk about your passion to write this and why you saw a need for it.
I wanted to write a book of stories because I think that stories are so important. Even just today, I was sitting, in a coffee shop across the table from a girlfriend of mine, and just left so riveted and encouraged by hearing her story. And so I wanted to write something that was full of storytelling and had some humor and had some hard stuff that I had to cry and write too. I really wanted to write the book that I wanted to read. And I wanted to read about, how do we deal with all the messages that are in our head from our childhood, from our breakups, from negative things that have happened. How do we heal from that? And I'm a fixer. I always want to fix myself, and sort of asking that question, can we fix our broken records? And spoiler alert, we can't. We need Jesus. We need Jesus to help us heal, So that's a part of where that inspiration came from. And I'm just a music lover too. So I wanted to sort of explore that idea of how does music even inform our faith journey as well,
Yeah, and I feel like as I was reading through it, you did such a great job of reminding us how quickly we take a lie or a broken record and play it over and over and over again instead of filling it with truth. And I'm curious, as you were writing, what were some of the things that stuck out to you the most that were the broken records in your life that you felt like, I didn't know these were here, but you have identified them?
A pretty big one in writing this book was I'm in control of everything. Just even that belief, I'm such a planner personality, so I'm like, I love to plan. I love to strategize. Like, I love that kind of stuff. And not that that's not good and that doesn't have its place, but sometimes when you're my type of personality, you can make that God. You can make that the thing that you're going to depend on the most. This is what I can control. This is what I can plan. And so much of the book process was God being like, you're not in control of that part, are you? You're not in control at all, are you? What are you going to do about that? Looks like the best thing for you to do is surrender to me. Weirdly, I know everything. And I do this better than you. That was like my constant conversation with God throughout the book and just in life, just learning how to be more open-handed with God, how to be more just surrendered and fluid in this way with God, of saying, here are my plans. Here are the things I feel passionate about. Here's what I think you've given me to do. But even if you want to do something that's completely different than this plan I came up with, I choose to follow your leading, God, above having to like stick my heels on the ground and follow my plan just for the sake of following it,
Well, and I think one of the things you do so well, Amena, in your writing, both spoken word and this book, is you redeem things. Like, you see the redemption of things that have been difficult for you, and you see that God uses those things. One of the quotes I loved was, I want to speak with confidence that the only reason I stand here is because of the God who called me, gave me this gift, and sent me here. I want to feel no need to apologize for who I am, what my story is, or where I come from, because all of those things have created the loved and perfect woman I am today. Talk about some of those things. What are some of the things that God has used in your life that maybe it was difficult for you to believe could be used for good?
I think some of it, and I'm sure all of us have like the box, so to speak, whether that's, what we deem it means to be a woman, or what, you know, other people may say it means to be a woman or to be a leader or to be, you know, you could fill in so many things in that blank, you know. And I'm a classic oldest child. I actually really love the box. You know, I'm just like, I love, hey, you're telling me what I need to do and what the structure is. Like, that's great. You know, I totally want to meet that.
Shocks
You know?
me, Amena. Really? There's that
Oh,
part of
I'm
you?
totally like that. Like, Jesus has to come into my life, circumstances in my life that basically make me like my mom would always describe me as like, you are the princess and the pea. You know, if you remember that fairy tale, right? And how like, because she was a princess, you know, she had like the pea in the mattress would irritate her, right? And my mom would always say, you end up in these situations where life and God has to let things irritate you enough so that you will be who you are supposed to be and not just like do this stuff that people expect of you. So I feel like that has been a big thing for me is not looking at the box as, oh, well, that's what people expect I should do. That's what I should meet. But more so coming back to the center of like, well, who is it God made me to be? And I should be that, even if that doesn't fit in anybody's box, even if that's not super easy to sort of put like a label on or whatever that is. And I say those words and it's super hard to do because sometimes people don't like it. They rather you
say, what's the barrier to that? Because
yeah, they'd rather you fit in to what their expectation is. You know, it works for them. It makes them feel more comfortable maybe about where they might be in their life. And like none of that stuff's important, you know. It's teaching me to really be who it is God made me to be. And that helps me to embrace other people being themselves fully versus feeling like to be a believer or a leader or whatever those blanks are means like we all become these like robotic, homogenous zombies in this weird way, you know?
Yeah. I'm curious, you know, as I was looking through the book, like I could see so many stages of life in it. Like I could read it and be like, okay, I need one of the teenagers that I know to read this, or I need to read this section, or like, you know, my sister needs to read this section or whatever. But thinking about a lot of the leaders that we're all working with and thinking about the lies that get stuck in their head all the time, I'd be curious what you think are the lies and the broken records that they have that they need to just completely debunk and look to the Lord for.
I would say a big one is the idea that like of not being enough. I think that's a huge one for so many of us. So one of my friends would say, she was like, I don't really like the conversation around I'm not enough, because she was like, if we are following God, are we ever supposed to be enough? Is it really that we need to look to the Lord to truly be the enough for us? And I think that's a part of it too. But I think for some reason, there's this thing in our American society, I can definitely say, that has this idea of like, well, you know, now if you're going to prom, there has to be this very large promposal. And, you know, when your baby turns 1, the birthday party has to be better than Chuck E. Cheese could do. It's got to have a huge theme and you know, and for people who love that, wonderful. But that's not the standard or the bar that you have to feel like you have to jump up and meet. And I think underneath that is this idea that I'm not enough if I don't blah, blah, blah. I'm not enough if God doesn't call me to do what I view to be a big thing. You know, I'm not enough if I'm not married, if I don't have children, if I'm not dating, if I don't have a cool job that people are like, oh, when I'm at the dinner party or whatever, is telling them about that, you know? So I think that creates this idea that I've always got to be striving. I've always got to be doing something that's better or more versus looking at exactly where we are, which wherever we are, there's always beauty there. And there's always some place to serve there. We really don't have to be looking for whatever this next thing is. And so I think that's a huge broken record for a lot of us as women, this idea of if I'm enough or if I'm doing enough. And 9 times out of 10, we're doing way too much, way more than God's even asking us to do.
Girl, you're preaching. I love this. I love this because I do think this is such a big lie for women right now. And I think we are so tired and we are confused and we're comparing rather than able to even hear what God wants for us. So let's talk about those breakthroughs for you. Like when God has stopped the record, like, what is it? Like,
I appreciate the way you're trying this. I really do. So
I do. So he stops it, and what happens? What is the shift? What is the change? How does he interrupt?
You know what? Unfortunately for me, one of the biggest ways God has to interrupt me is my body failing. Is really getting to the point that I let that striving and that trying so hard to reach whatever the bar was, that my body was like, girl, no, I'm not doing this. You need to sit down, and you need to sit down right now. And my hope and prayer for other women and for me in the future is not to let it get to that point where that has to be the way you learn this lesson, you know?
And that was a real thing because I know, I mean, how long ago was that, Amena, where your body was shutting down?
Yeah, that was earlier this year. And really, to be honest, it's something that health-wise, which I write a little bit about in the Control Alt Surrender section of this book, it's been this journey of having a health challenge that gets better sometimes. And then when you're not taking care of yourself, gets worse and gets better and gets worse. So I could sort of tell based on how my health was doing, how well I am taking care of myself and taking time to rest, you know? So I think in a way, this probably sounds harsh. I don't mean it to sound this way, but I think sometimes it taught me that sometimes I have a more arrogant view of myself or how necessary I am to things than maybe I should have, you know? And having to shut down earlier this year and go, girl, you need to shut everything down. And you just need to focus right now on your body healing, on recovering. You need to focus on that. And having to take that time to do that really taught me like, and you know what, girl, strangely enough, the world is going on. People are doing the things that they need to do, all the stuff that I'm sort of taking on myself. Like, well, if I don't do this, it's not going to get done. You know, if I don't initiate these things, and if I don't lead this, these things won't get done. And during that time, having to go to people I love and the people I work with that are supportive of me and go, I can't do these things. And watching people go, okay, well, I'll take this and I'll do that part and I'll do this. And that really taught me like, I need to be humble enough to ask for help and not just wait until it got that bad, you know, but in the middle of things to say, hey, I can't do all this. And normally when you say that to people who are in your support system or in your community, somebody's going to go, okay, let me help with that. Or I know somebody that can help with that. So I think that's been a part of the healing for me, is learning it doesn't make me weak to ask people for help. That's not a bad thing, or like I couldn't do it. I couldn't handle it all myself. You know, even those narratives in there that's what it means to be a strong woman. You know, it means I sort of take everything on my shoulders and I'm carrying some boulder up the mountain, you know, like that's not what it means to be a strong woman. Right. It means you depend on a mighty God, first of all. And it means you're strong enough to say, I can't, I need help. No, I can't do that part. But that took some hard lessons for me to.
Isn't it more fun too? I mean, on the other side of community and team, like I do think we were built for that, but you're right, we resist it. So it's such an interesting, there's so many different broken records, girl, because it is such a different, those two make each other worse. The fact that we don't ask for help, but yet we're striving and trying to be enough. I mean, that just is a miserable existence. And yet we were meant to not, you know, measure up in all these ways and to do it in community. It's just, it just sounds like a more fun life.
Yeah, when we do it the healthy way.
It's good. It's well, if y'all have not gotten this book this week, you want to. It is such a great read. And what I love, I think my favorite part about your writing, Amena, was it is just exactly how you speak, and it's punchy and strong and real. And I was so drawn in. And so you're an incredible writer, both obviously in spoken word, we've always known it, and also in this book. It's really well done. And so How to Fix a Broken Record, you can get it on Amazon. Let's talk about where to get it, Amena.
Yes, you can go to amenabrown.com and all the links are there where you can purchase this book. But you can go to your favorite bookseller. So wherever your favorite places you like to go, we want to support independent bookstores. We want to do all those things. So links are there on amenabrown.com where you can find out more about the book. And I'm looking forward to talking more with you guys about it.
Yes.
I love that. And
Let's
I want to know
where podcast.
Oh yeah. I was about to say, I want to know more about your podcast. So there's a podcast with the same name, right?
Yes.
Talk about that one.
Yes, there is a How to Fix a Broken Record podcast, which has been a lot of fun. Some of my If Gathering people know that my sister-in-law and I, Missy, have had a podcast for a while called Here for the Donuts, where we literally eat carbohydrates and have inappropriate conversation, as we do every year when we go to If Gathering. So this is
she always finds the very best, fanciest donuts that the city has to hold. I ate a donut this year in Dallas though, because we ventured into a new city with If Lead, and it was the craziest donut I've ever tasted. There were like 17 flavors. Do you remember this? I mean,
yes. Trisha brought those donuts.
I'm just saying.
I wish I could remember the name of that place, but it was very life-changing. But my favorite donut thus far is in Austin at Gordo's. So you guys need to do that. But yeah, I've had a podcast with my sister-in-law, which I really love. So this is actually the second podcast that I've ever had. And How to Fix a Broken Record podcast has been a lot of fun. Each episode, we take on a part of the book, and I pick a person to discuss that part. So I've interviewed my grandmother, who was one of the women I dedicated this book to. I interviewed my hairstylist. We talked about natural hair and learning how to love and be yourself. I interviewed Annie Downs, who many of you that are If Gathering ladies would know her well. We talked about dating, and I kissed dating goodbye and weird church things you learn about dating. I talked to Montel and Kristen Jordan about marriage. And actually just this week on Jennifer Chung's episode, she's a fantastic YouTube sensation, singer-songwriter. We talked about lessons in adulting. So I'm looking forward to sharing more episodes with you all. They're coming out every week. Only 10 episodes, so you got to get in there. Got to get in there while you can.
It's like a Netflix season. I mean, it's just coming out at once. Everybody's going to binge listen.
That's right.
Okay, so amenabrown.com for the podcast too?
Yes, and the podcast is available on Apple and Android. So wherever you listen to podcasts, you will find it there as well.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, so what else is happening next? I mean, are you on the road? Are you speaking some, Amena?
We're getting ready to get close to the holidays, so most of my speaking whatnots are here in Atlanta, which is fun. I'm hosting 2 open mics this month, doing my first bookstore book signing at Barnes & Noble on Thursday here in Atlanta. So I was super weirded out and excited to see my face on a poster in there.
That's so fun.
Like, who's this? Oh, that's me. So that's happening, and I am looking forward to taking How to Fix a Broken Record on tour, where I will be taking the chapters and stories and mix those with poems. It is going to be a good time. We will laugh, we will cry, we will have inappropriate conversation. It will be the best.
Are you going to come to Dallas?
Yes, I would love to come to Dallas. I totally have plans to come to Dallas. So I will report back on all the Dallas things.
Love it.
Yes. Do you know any cities you're going to so far?
Not that I can say for sure to tell you. I think I know I'm coming to Philly. And of course, I will be at If Gathering in Austin.
Yeah.
And we're talking about, I'm just going to drop it right here, that we're talking about a little party on Thursday night too. So
oh yes, yeah, we are putting our heads and minds together to plan something for you all. Yes, but you can always go to amenabrown.com if you are wanting to know if I'm going to be in your city soon. But we are working on all of the plans.
Yeah, love it.
So good. Well, it's been super fun to catch up with you and talk a little bit about the book. And we get to see you in February, which is just extra special, as always.
So we love you being part.
This is my
We love you being part. So
I love y'all.
Love you. And y'all sign up for If. I mean, it's coming. It is coming. Our office is getting busy. It's buzzing. Just today, there was like almost 400 people that have registered just today for If Gathering around the world.
Yeah.
We're passing up 1,000 events already. I mean, it's crazy. It's happening. So sign up today. In fact, if you sign up, what happens, Katie?
If you sign up today to either host an If Local or attend an If Local, we're giving out early copies of Joe Saxton's book, The Dream of You. So we have 500 copies for the first 500 people.
Yes.
Yes.
So go sign up. It's getting close to 500 today, so go do it. Okay. Thank you guys for joining us for lunch, and we will be back soon. I think
we'll be back in December.
Yeah,
for our next lunchtime.
Can we say who?
Can't say who.
Okay. I always get in trouble, Amena. I know that shocks you. Okay. Thank you for joining us, and we'll talk soon.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.